All right, peeps. I want to get into a good topic: teacher pay. I actually got online and reached out to an old college uh buddy. She's a teacher now, and I asked her about her salary and stuff, and she let me know it seems like this is a typical median salary for Arkansas. I don't know. I'm not gonna say nothing. I know we're just gonna get into it. So in Arkansas, this is a public school teacher. It's not college. Salary is 50K as of actually a few couple weeks ago. So it falls between 42,000 and 61,000. And of course, it's going to depend on the city and other stuff, right? But the median is about 50,000. And I think that's about what she says she makes about that, somewhere around the 50,000 mark. So that makes a lot of sense, peeps. Um, Now, what I didn't ask her, and this is something I've been hearing, is that they should be paid more. And I'm thinking to myself, why should y'all be paid more? Hell, y'all making enough money as it is. Hell, that's money that I mean, I don't know anybody that makes that type of money, peeps. You know what I'm saying? So it's not enough. So what? How much should you get paid? Right. So I'm gonna watch a video about why teachers are paid so low. What? I need to ask her that. How much? I didn't ask her. And I should have asked her how much should you be getting paid? Because 50,000 is a lot of money. By the way, that's a lot of money. Now I do know that we have inflation and all of that stuff, but and I know some people have kids, but we're not gonna get into that. That's why you should be married. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into this, peeps. Let me get pull up. I'm gonna pull up a video. We're gonna watch it. Let's educate ourselves on some things here.
So your answer is really good at negative -0.6. You guys are rock stars. Anna, how you doing out there?
Okay.
Yeah?
I need
Tell
a
me what you're
wife.
thinking.
I think I like it. I just don't, I'm a little bit confused with the equation part.
And I think
Almost everyone remembers that one teacher who had a transformative impact on their life. The teacher that made school exciting and interesting and that genuinely cared. Teacher quality is the #1 school-related factor to student achievement.
so no stress
That's
on that
true.
this weekend, Anna.
Yeah,
It's going to be beautiful weather, so go enjoy it. In the meantime, you all take good care of yourselves, all right? I'm going to let you go a couple minutes early today.
This is an extremely important profession. Teachers literally have the future of the country in front of them every day.
But the teaching profession is in turmoil. The wage gap between teachers and others with the same level of education and experience is nearly 20% and growing.
I think I'd be remiss to say I haven't had that moment where I was like, I could probably double my salary if I left and went elsewhere. I've never been really tempted enough to actually pull the trigger. And I really love what I do. And there is no other job like this.
In some areas of the country, up to a quarter of teachers
Hold on. So let's look at the turnover rates here. The turnover rate for teachers is high in Texas, because Texas is a big ass state. Even Arkansas, I mean, that's 10, 15%. Uh, Now I'm interested to see why Utah. Listen, you notice something. I want y'all to notice something here. I'm seeing something interesting, kinda. I'm just putting this out there. I don't have no proof on this, but it seemed like the states. I'm looking at some of these states here, that are like in the 5 to 10%. West Virginia, I don't know about West Virginia. I can't speak on that. Some of these states have they have good school. They have good colleges. I don't know about Utah. We'll put Utah, but even Illinois, I can't think of the school. They have actually a couple schools in Illinois that's good. Um, Penn State, New Jersey had damn, I can't think, peeps. Delaware, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. These are the areas where they have good school. They just have good school colleges, and so I'm wondering. That's interesting, peeps. That's interesting.
Teachers leave the profession annually, and about 1/5 of the workforce has to resort to a second job. The pandemic is likely making
crazy,
things
peeps.
worse.
The exodus of some of our best and brightest teachers is that they realize they can't sustain a life that they had dreamed of.
So why are teachers paid so little, and is there anything that can be done to change that?
But I'm trying to figure out how much are they getting paid. Let's find out. Because I'm seeing here is 50K.
Hey guys, how's
good.
everybody at home? I see everybody's finally here. It's all good.
This is Kate Diaz. She's a math and statistics teacher at Manchester High School in Connecticut.
she's a high
She's been
school
working
teacher.
here her entire career, nearly 21 years.
I came to teaching late in the game. I wasn't necessarily somebody who went through high school and college thinking, I'm going to be a teacher. I was substitute teaching. I was trying to kind of navigate those roads. And that was where my aha moment was. I was like, this is perfect.
Show me one of your first.
My first, okay, let's see, this is fun. This is my first, probably the first contract. Yeah, this is the first. So, 20 years ago, if you had gone through
Hold on, peeps. So your pay depends on your. It's interesting. This is Manchester. The hell. Okay. So depending on if you have a master, that's crazy, peeps. So if I have I have a bachelor's degree. If I want to get paid $2,000 extra dollars, okay, you know what? I see what the pay. I don't know. See what the payoff is. It's when you get to step 13, which I'm assuming that's damn near almost half a year. If I don't know, if that's 13 years, 60K. If you have a doctorate degree. First off, if you have a doctor's degree, why the hell you shouldn't even be in high school? What the hell why are you teaching high school for if you have a doctor's degree? What the heck? I can see someone having a doctorate degree if they're like semi-retired and they're just teaching like a specialty course, and even I don't even know that. I think that person would actually be able to negotiate their salary. All right, peeps, let's keep going.
bachelor's and a master's, you're still entering at 36,000. We have what we call like a slow burn, and
But y'all, I want to say something that when I was looking at that and thinking, hell, I made that type of money. That's money you can make being a staffer or going to HR when you don't have to have no degree. But hey, you hear that from me.
teaching. So there's this gradual kind of incremental increase that we contractually will negotiate, and then we hit what we call the max. 10 years in, I was probably at about 60,000. Now 21 years in, I'm about 90,000.
That's considered high in the US. For example, in Mississippi, the lowest paying state, a teacher with 20 years of experience makes around $50,000. The average starting salary is just over $40,000. That's not a living wage in many parts of the country.
Yeah,
I don't think the wages match
I will
sort of
say
the
that.
level of expectation of the position. If you look at a teacher and you say to
should've-
them, we
I
want you
take
to
back
be
what I
a
was saying.
therapist, we want you to
If
be a
you're,
social
in New
worker,
York,
we want you to
especially New York
be
City,
a
making
teacher,
50K.
obviously. We want you to have
I mean, I guess
some
you're making
safety
it.
training. And then you layer in the joys of the pandemic and learning to teach
Maybe.
online and to teach remotely. But don't forget that we do have the joy of standardized testing that we're going to layer on top of that. And then we're going to evaluate how you're successfully navigating all of the challenges facing the world while you're teaching a kid to read.
Since the 1990s, the average inflation-adjusted teacher salaries have remained largely stagnant and even declined in the mid.
Listen, I will tell you right now, if that's true, I don't know if that's true, man. I feel like, well, that's the average teacher salary. That's still high. What I was gonna say is in the 90s, if you was making 50K, you had it made. That was true middle class. But I remember a lot of teachers telling me that they didn't make that much. that they said some of our parents probably make, if not the same amount, probably more than they do. But that's crazy. That shit dropped down back in 2015.
Majority of states.
Really
That
going
and the
backwards.
increasing stressful environment have resulted in low retention rates, shortages, and national teacher strikes around the country. In 2018, 375,000 school employees walked out to demand increased education funding and better pay.
Okay.
The full effects of the pandemic remain to be seen, although experts say it's not looking good.
The movement Red for Ed was all about saying we need to pay attention to who the teachers are and to what they're doing and to what their compensation is. And it gave a national platform to the question of, do we value education?
The American public school system as we know it today was invented about 100 years ago. Before that, it was mostly men teaching.
Quite quickly, it was reconfigured into quote-unquote women's work. And one of the big reasons is that you could save money for the taxpayer. And so this kind of set the bedrock, the tone in a sense, that this was relatively low-paid work.
In the 1960s, teaching paid women 15 percentage points better than if they had chosen another field. But at that time, options were limited. That's not the case anymore. Still, teaching is overwhelmingly a female profession and has become more so over time. Today, more than 3/4 of teachers are females.
A lot of it boils down to the status of the line of work. There was this idea that, gosh, you don't have to be that smart. It's not as complex, as difficult as, being an accountant working with numbers, being a dentist working with teeth.
Yeah.
Sylvia Allegretto has been studying something called the teacher pay penalty or teacher wage gap for nearly 20 years. Allegretto and her partner found that the weekly wage penalty for teachers has gotten worse over time. Today, men make about 27% less and women make about 16% less than if they had chosen another profession with the same level of education and experience.
You have to wonder, how are you
get
going
that
to
part.
attract
I thought that was weird. I was
students
like, what?
into the
I
teaching
get it.
profession?
An international comparison with the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, found that teachers in the US make nearly 60% less than that of similarly educated professionals, lowest across all OECD countries.
The claims of a teacher pay gap are that teachers earn less than similarly educated private sector workers. What this ignores, which in every other context we know very well, is there within any given educational category, there is a lot of differentiation in pay. We all know today that people who graduate from a top college with a bachelor's degree in engineering or another STEM field, they're going to earn a great deal in the private sector. We also know that people who graduate with a liberal arts degree aren't going to earn quite so much.
There's not one answer to this question. There's not a national answer to this question because salary levels differ and markets differ. As an example, in Florida, there are schools that train engineers, and there are a lot of jobs that actually the salary levels there for engineers are lower. Salaries in Massachusetts for teachers, as an example, are 2 or 3 times higher than salaries in Arizona. In most localities, we find teachers significantly under the family living wage.
The profession has been known to have great benefits, according to Biggs, twice as generous as for the average private sector worker. But studies show that teachers only receive their pension if they stay in the profession for 25 years or more, and only a quarter reached a break-even point on total contribution and interest.
Weekly wages actually really matter because you can't pay your rent or pay for your food from your benefits.
And so you have to find alternate ways.
Income mobility is another source of contention. Unless a teacher moves to a higher paying state, wages only increase 1 to 2% per year.
In a private industry, if you're doing really well, you'll be eligible for a raise or you're going to shift companies. We end up sort of stuck in the profession, and the only way to kind of substantially increase your salary is to leave the profession.
Raising teacher quality is the #1 driver to improved student achievement, and the US is falling behind international counterparts.
It's one of our highest ideals that we're going to make the adequate investments in all of public education so that each and every kid in this country is able to get a good and decent education. And we're falling short of those promises.
But increasing teachers' salaries seem unlikely at the moment. Even at times when education spending increased, it still didn't impact salaries. On top of that, there are a lot of teachers out there, about 3.5 million in fact.
It's been hard to tackle teacher compensation right now because they're so low to start with that there's always this feeling that any solution somebody loses, and so how do you get out of this zero-sum winners and losers kind of situation?
To close the EPI teacher compensation gap, Andrew Biggs estimates that it would cost roughly $29 billion. The CARES Act included $13.2 billion in direct funding for K-12 public education, but that was less than 2% of total public education funding. An additional relief from Congress is uncertain at the moment. Karen works with school districts around the country to figure out how to reallocate available money to maximize results. She says one viable solution is creating leadership roles. In Washington, D.C., for example, teachers can make upward $130,000.
The way they funded that was at first they got outside support, grant support, and helped to fund the transition to a new salary structure. Then they transitioned to a new salary structure where they paid the teachers that did the most and worked in the toughest assignments significantly more. And they freed it up by reducing staff. Also in the salary structures, it means probably giving less money for every additional year and linking the raises instead to changing roles. Experience matters, but experience matters if it's leading to good teaching.
Washington, D.C. is just one of the over 13,500 school districts in the U.S., while the Red for Ed movement results.
So, question is, what's the solution, peeps? All right, what's the solution? Here's what I think. You know, we all doing all these strikes and stuff. That shit don't work. I'm gonna tell you. You know what works? Leave and find another profession. Cause here's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you, it's gonna be bomb. Think about this. All these teachers are gonna leave and do other professions that pay more. I don't know where they're gonna go, and cause y'all already getting pretty much. I really don't know where y'all gonna go. I mean, if you got a degree, I don't know. I don't know. If you all decide to go to another profession, that's going to open up the door where the government's going to step in, and they're going to have to find a solution to the problem that exists. And what they're going to do, they're going to start incentivizing the profession. Bonuses, sign-on bonuses, pensions. They're going to have to redo to make it more attractive to teachers. See, striking and protesting and all that shit don't work. Like I said, y'all can do all that shit if you want to. It's been done plenty of times and ain't nothing happened. Peeps. What I'm telling you is get out of the profession. Forget the kids. Get out of the profession. Go find because here's the thing. At the end of the day, too, education should come from the home anyway. Right? Education should come from the home. Parents need to be educating their kids, right? So that's another solution. Get rid of the school system. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, this is a different video. The school system itself is just, it's called for what it is. It's terrible, peeps. When you got out of school, it didn't help you in life. Some of y'all don't even know how. Some of y'all are not even doing your taxes. If you're married, you're doing your taxes because your husband knows how to do taxes. But some of y'all don't even know what taxes are. How do I know that? Because I'm in HR and I have to almost damn near help almost every woman fill out her W-4. fill out her Arkansas state tax. And then they complain, well, I had to pay in. Well, yeah, you have to pay in. Well, how do I prevent from paying in? Well, save your money. That's all I can tell you. But or what you need to do is go get married. Because if you get married, that especially if you're making $50K, that actually puts you in a lower tax bracket once you get married, because your partner probably is only going to be making around that amount, maybe lower. And you have to make, I think it's 120K or more to be considered to be in the tax bracket that you're currently in right now, making 50K and being single. But again, schools are not really teaching basic skills. Some of y'all don't even know how to change the oil in your car. You don't know how to service spark plugs. Some of y'all don't even know how to change the battery in your smoke detector, because I'm telling you right now, you can hear the smoke detectors going off. Some of y'all don't know how to change a light switch. You don't know how to change an electrical switch. You don't know how to fix a lot of things, right? But that's not taught in school. So I don't know. Y'all tell me what the solution is. I mean, and then tell me how much should teachers be getting paid? Well, you think y'all should be getting paid like 6 figures? Really? 6 figures? I don't think so. I think y'all are really where you're at. Although I don't know. I'm just saying across the board, I think teachers should be about 60K. 65K max. Because I don't think it's that much of a skill gap to be a teacher. Just saying. Anyways, peeps, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Should teachers get better pay? And if they are supposed to get better pay, how much? I'm out. Peace.